Justice Sophia has worked with the Supreme Court since 2005 and will become the 13th person to occupy the position after approval from Parliament. President Akufo-Addo praised the outgoing Chief Justice Georgina Theodora Wood for her contribution to the delivery of justice.
She is the first female to head the judiciary and its longest-serving leader, who will have been in office for 3 days, short of 10 years. Her career has been extraordinary, and I pay warm tribute to her distinguished service to our nation and wish her a well-earned retirement.
On his nominee, Justice Sophia Akufo, the President described her quality as unquestionable. The President pledged the Executive's commitment to work with the judiciary.
Her capacity for detailed research, her independence of mind and spirit, her honesty and integrity, her deep-seated respect for the rule of law, and her abiding belief in the sovereignty of Almighty God. I have no doubt that Justice Sophia Akufo will be a worthy successor to Chief Justice Wood and uphold jealously the independence of the judiciary.
If approved by Parliament, Justice Sophia Akufo will be the second woman in the history of the country to occupy the position of Chief Justice.
The President's nominee for the Chief Justice's position there, Justice Sophia Akufo there. Now let's speak to the Judicial Staff Service Association of Ghana. Its President, Alex Nartey, has just joined me on the phone lines. Mr. Nartey, grateful for your time tonight.
Thank you. Good evening.
So let's start from here. There were people who suggested that since the first, the second, and the third gentlemen of the land were men, a woman heading the judiciary was in the right direction. Is that how you think too?
Yes. As far as JUSAC is concerned, we don't have issues with gender. We believe in competency, and whether or not one is a woman, once she has what it takes to man the organization the way everybody wants, we have no objection.
All you look at is a competence of the person taking up the position. How would you describe the nominee?
We have worked with her, and we know she's affable and experienced both locally and internationally. And we know that she's able to deliver up to the expectation of all.
Some have suggested that if the President had gone in for any other person apart from Justice Sophia Akufo, then of course would have had a Chief Justice who would have served more than 2 years. We were told she has to serve. What do you think about that?
I do not think that how long one serves in the office matters. It is the person's ability to run and manage the issues within the period that she serves effectively and efficiently. The number of years one serves in office actually does not matter.
Is she able to, whatever, let me say, decisions she takes within the 2 years, is she able to start and end it before perhaps she also begins her retirement journey?
Well, you see, we look forward for decisions that will stand the test of time. Everybody looks forward for a foundation to build upon. And so we believe that however short she stays, One, she's going to work with a team, and one, she's experienced and knows what is best for us. This time, she will lay the foundations, and anybody who comes who is also objective will continue for the general good of the justice system. And so what we look forward is that Ghanaians will continue to grow and be objective in whatever we do in leadership, so that successively we can grow Ghana into the stature that we all look forward for.
I asked you this because, for instance, your condition of service is a key thing that has taken several years to deal with. Now, how sure are you that within the 2 years, she will be able to put in measures that would ensure that JUSAC has conditions of service that they are excited about?
Well, one of the responsibilities of a Chief Justice is to ensure that she puts up a team that are highly motivated and are remunerated fairly. And so even if she commences something in the interest of the staff for efficient delivery and does not finish, anybody who comes who also wants to achieve something will first look at where she got to and continue, because obviously, as we keep saying, the success or otherwise of every CJ largely depends upon the administrative staff she's going to work with.
I see. Now, as far as the conditions of service of JUSAC is concerned, what do you think are the challenges she would have to deal with in making sure your staff are excited and work with all their minds and body?
Regarding our conditions of service, the outgoing Chief Justice has done a lot with the support of the association. We have gone very far. What we are left with is the implementation, and we are going to assist her to, do that. We also look forward for a standing negotiating committee that the association can engage on regular basis to enable her take a final decision on issues that pertain to the conditions of the judicial service. We look forward for an open door administration where the union, which she needs so much, can meet her on regular basis and discuss issues that are in the general interest of the staff and the judicial service as a whole.
All right. Mr. Alex Nartey, I'm grateful for your time tonight. Thanks so much for speaking to us. Alex Nartey is the National President of Judicial Service Staff Association of Ghana. Now, quickly, the woman who's been named by President Akufo-Addo as the next Chief Justice of Ghana to replace the Chief Justice Georgina Fitzgerald, who retires in June 2017. There are certain things that you need to know about her. Now, she was born on 20th of December 1949. That's her age. From what is here, 67 years. Sofa Akufu had her master's in law from the Harvard University in the United States, and she's the second senior-most justice on the Supreme Court bench after Justice William Atuguba. That's the lady on your screen now, Justice Sophia Akufu, the next Chief Justice nominee for the Republic of Ghana. Now, let's also go to Parliament and speak to the minority leader, Honorable Haruna Idris, who just joined me on the phone lines. Grateful for your time tonight.
Yeah, thank you very much for the opportunity.
Let's start from here. From the what we know about her, Parliament would have an easy job grilling her and approving her to be the Chief Justice.
I'm unable to determine that for Parliament as an institution, but suffice it to add that Justice Sophia Akuffo is already a member of the Superior Court of Judicature, serving in the highest capacity as Supreme Court of Ghana, and is now being elevated to put her feet into the shoes of now exiting and departing Justice Georgina Theodora Wood, who have distinguishedly and by exemplary leadership dedicated public service to the Republic, is now being replaced on the recommendations of the President, subject to parliamentary approval, to be the country's foremost judge and head of the judicial organ of the state. My disappointment is that there's no judicial council in place.
Right.
Even though Article 1441, which the President relied on, if you read Article 1441 combined with 2, it would have been more honorable if the President constituted the Judicial Council and prior to this determination. But he's not bound by law to do that. Justice Sophia Akuffo have demonstrated over the years independent of thought and mind, and utmost respect to the values and principles of the rule of law, and we expect that she would contribute to a stronger judicial organ of government as an arbiter of the state. Legitimately, there are concerns because of her final ties and the fact that she probably worked with the President in the same chamber. But we will, in Parliament, examine those matters. One will certainly not be on the Supreme Court if you had issues of morality and character. She satisfied those requirements before she got into that particular role.
Okay.
We expect that she would up the standards from where leadership Mrs. Georgina Theodora Wood is leaving Ghana's judiciary. We have a fearless, independent judiciary, but albeit there are matters which need to be resolved.
Okay.
For instance, the judicial service workers. We have, since the promulgation of the 1993 Constitution, not been able to draw a distinction between judicial, non-judicial, and Article 71 office holders as required by Article 1582 of the Constitution, of a constitutional instrument to define their emoluments. I trust that she'll be able to do that. I know that her leadership, the Chief Justice, was making a good case to the executive to dedicate 30% of their IGF for them to be able to handle some of their internal matters, which was granted by President Mahama in one of the cabinet sessions. She needs to build teamwork, relate to the organs, subject to the parliamentary processes. The Council of State is involved as one of the advisory institutions. We will be guided by their advice to the President and to Parliament.
Okay.
But I think what is more important is for Ghana, even though with a weak notion of the separation of powers, to allow the judiciary to be a strong arbiter, and then also she must work to eliminate the cumbersome, time-consuming processes of getting justice in Ghana. Justice delayed is justice denied.
All right.
So we look forward to doing what we have to do as an institution, but I'm unable to take a decision for Parliament.
All right.
But to that high office, we look forward
to see
exercising justice without fear or favor.
Okay. All right. I'm grateful for your time tonight. Honorable Haruna Iddrisu, who is the minority leader in Parliament, talking to me about the President nominee. Now, if Parliament confirms Justice Sophia Akuffo, she'll be the 5th Chief Justice under the 4th Republic. She will also be the 13th Chief Justice in the history of the Republic of Ghana. Don't forget that she was appointed to the Supreme Court by Flight Lieutenant Jerry John Rawlings on 20th November 1995. Now, let's step on the brakes for now. When we come back, we'll tell you what's happening as far as the University Teachers Association of Ghana is concerned. They have some issues to raise with government. We'll tell you about that when we return. Stay with us. This is News at 10. Right, thanks so much for staying there. We're still staying with the presidency because President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has promised to dialogue with University Teachers Association of Ghana to resolve all grievances on the labor front. The president renewed his commitment during a courtesy call paid on him by the national leadership of UTAG at the Flagstaff House in Accra.
Leadership of UTAG was led by the Education Minister, Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh, to meet the president to find solutions to the numerous labor agitations confronting the association. President of the association, Dr. Harry Agbanu, called on government to pay particular attention to challenges of teachers.
The negotiation of conditions of service is one of the roles of the university councils. But since the coming into being of the fair wages, that role has been taken over by fair wages, and we've been trying to discuss this with the past government that it is an anomaly that must be corrected. That has not happened yet.
Matthew Opoku Prempeh is the Minister for Education.
Two things that have come to my notice is the Controller and Accountant General insisting on all the universities coming under the single spine. Whether they are directly under the single spine or through the National Council of Tertiary Education, it is to make sure that remunerations are fair.
President Akufo-Addo said government will work with the association to improve educational standards in the country.
The RITA already laid down avenues for the engagement that you are doing here. I think it is more orderly for us to have results to them. There is a body whose function it is to arbitrate, to mediate, to look at these matters, and we should try and seize that body first.
Now, Dr. Harry Agbanu is the president of UTAG, and he's just joined me on the phone line. So, Dr. Agbanu, grateful for your time tonight. Now, the key thing you were stressing on when you met the president was your conditions of service. Now, what are the challenges with this as far as you raising the issue of Fair Wages and Salaries Commission coming into the arrangement of your conditions of service?
Thank you very much, and good evening to our listeners. We always hold the view as an association that our councils are the bodies mandated by the Constitution and the Act that established the universities to negotiate our conditions of service. But since the coming into being of the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, that role has been taken over by the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission. We think there is that is an anomaly and must be corrected, because in one breath, the Act demands that the councils negotiate our conditions of service. And then in another breath, the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission Act also says that we should, negotiate a condition of service with that commission. And so we've been discussing this for some time now, for some understanding, but that has not, as I said, happened yet.
Okay.
And so that is the problem we have.
And so is it your suggestion or the association's suggestion that if your conditions of service is negotiated by fair wages, you stand at a disadvantage? Is that the case?
Yes, that is exactly the case.
I see.
Because the workings of the universities are different from any other public service. We do things, or our condition of service as indicated in the letters that appointed us are quite different from other, public services. And so when we go to negotiate, and mind you, the negotiations is not done only with UTAC, it's done with all public sector workers under the auspices of, the TUC. And the issues that we raise are not issues that are of importance to other workers. And so it is difficult to isolate us and deal with us as expected, because there is no room for that as far as the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission is concerned. But with the councils, normally what was happening before the coming into being of the council was that the councils elected somebody or appointed somebody, government also appoints somebody, the workers, university workers also appointed somebody, and they meet to be able to discuss what the issues are. But that has been thrown overboard since the coming into being of the
Fair Wages,
Fair Wages Commission. And it is making it difficult for Fair Wages to be able to listen to us, to appreciate the issues that we raise. And therefore, over the years, our conditions of service have worsened.
Okay. Dr. Agbanu, we'll leave it here. I'm grateful for your time tonight. He is the president of the University Teachers Association of Ghana, Dr. Harry Agbanu, there talking to me. Grateful that you stayed there to be part of the show. Those of you who watched that from Tamale, from Koforidua, and also from Kintampo, we're grateful that you stayed there and watched us. And of course, to my team in the studio here, Nana Boaji, Stephen Nete, the cameraman, and of course, Bernard Hansi, Ebenezer Tete, and Amoncho, great guys. Amankwa is the man who is doing all the trick there at Conti. And of course, the show was put together by two great men, Samuel Owusu-Ntwi and Yellow Poku. My studio director was Richard Bruce Lamte. My name is Brighton Ananfo. Have a great Friday night. Stay right here on TV3. There's more up next.